So when we graduate high school, we're bombarded with a plethora of questions. Are we going to college? If so, where? If so, what are we going to major in? So I and my cameraman Dylan, say hi Dylan,
Hi, Dylan.
are here today to solve one question. What's the best residence hall on Texas Tech campus? So it makes it easier for oncoming freshmen. This way. So what's the best Texas Tech residence hall? Well, we're going to try to answer this question as objectively as we can using 6 criteria. The first being dorms. What is the living situation like? Is it 2-person, 3-person suite style, mainly? The second being bathrooms. This seems kind of small and not that important, but the bathrooms are a huge factor in how good a dorm is. Is it community style? Am I sharing it with one or two other people, or is it well kept up with? The third being dining hall. This is directly referring to the dining hall that is attached to the dorm or closely adjacent to. And the fourth then being location. This also deals with dining halls. How close are you from the bigger ones instead of just having a Sam's Place or, a Quiznos like that? How close am I to the market, the Commons, Fresh Plate over by Sneed? The fifth being cost. Most of the dorms here cost about the same price except the suite style dorms. And the reason we include this is if we didn't, then suite style dorms would just be the winner overall. But cost should be a player in which dorm you pick. And then finally, 6 we pick is just the miscellaneous category. This is where we bring in some of the more subjective opinions that we're going to get from the interviewees that we pull from each of these dorm communities or blocks, as I call them. Again, we got Block A. This is Coleman, Weymouth, and Chitwood. These dorms are your backup plan. I want to say that at the beginning of this. This is your plan B. You don't want these dorms. You don't seek out these dorms. Now, that being said, the dorm rooms themselves are pretty good. They are the 2-person non-movable style. It's co-ed by floor. Yeah, and like I said, 2-person non-movable furniture. And as we see with all the same buildings with the same floor plan, everyone likes this, style. Now we go from great rooms to pretty crappy bathrooms. The reason I say pretty crappy is they aren't clean. They are, I don't want to say filthy, but they seem dingy. They're dirty. Low fluorescent lights constantly. The floors are soaked in either piss or water, as the showers actually don't drain that well. So you just get a lot of water on the floor and it stays there for hours. And the reason I think, I think the showers were built poorly, but the reason I think the cleanliness is so non-existent is because it takes a lot more time for the cleaning staff to clean a 12-story building than it does a 6-story building. So I think that's something you sacrifice with the taller building. Next, dining halls. The dining hall attached to this dorm is a Sam's Place. I think it's Sam's Place West. It only has a Quiznos. It used to have a Chick-fil-A, but no one worked there, and it closed, which is sad. But it only has a Quiznos, so be prepared to eat that. Location. Now, this block is close to Urbanski Park, the basketball arena, the rec center, and some other better dining options, but it's not that close to the library, the sub, or most common freshman core classes. So that's also something you sacrifice. You're going to have to walk 10, 15 minutes to get to those places. So just remember that. The dorm cost overall is the same as other dorms of its style, which is about $4,600. So that's a positive. It's cheap, but there are a lot of similar or same price dorms that are just better. And then finally, the actual quality of living, how the people like living here. They didn't, hate it, but they didn't love it. They're like, it's a place to stay. is kind of the vibe I got from them. Next, we move on to Block B. Block B has Hewlin Clement and Wall Gates. So these dorms, being right next to each other, are essentially the same. They are co-ed by floor with the same two-person immovable living situation as Block A. The dorms rated the exact same. The bathrooms, actually, surprise, surprise, are far better than Block A's, and it's because these buildings are like barely 6 stories tall. You know what I mean? It's not really, shouldn't really be a competition between these two. The cleaning staff keeps great care of these bathrooms. Now, let's talk about dining halls. The dining halls in both these buildings are bad. I think they're both Sam's Place Expresses, which I actually really don't know how that system works, but it's essentially a worse Sam's Place, which is kind of hard to get. Now, the dining halls are so bad, but the location of Block B is really close to the Commons and the Market, which are two of the better dining halls on campus, as well as it's equidistant to the rec, to Urbanisky Park, the arena, as it is to the sub, the library, and those common core freshman classes. So it's in a great position. Cost, same as Block A at that $4,600 mark. It's sitting pretty right now. And then miscellaneous, same with the Block A students. They didn't actually love it and they didn't actually hate it. I think there just isn't enough to make it stand out. It's kind of more bland, even though it has better amenities. It's one of the more bland. This block is some of the more blander side. It just, I don't know. Now, Block C. This is Horn-Knapp, Bledsoe, and Sneed. Horn-Knapp being attached and Bledsoe Sneed being separate but really close by. So the dorms themselves, 7. People like the movable furniture as much as or more than they do the immovable furniture. So the people I know who live here actually live in a 3-person dorm, which is really weird. One of the beds is bunked. It's kind of weird, but they seem to really get along with everybody and they love it. The bathrooms are above average. They're clean. It's the same reasoning, I think, behind why Block B's bathrooms are cleaner. It's because they're smaller dorms. It's easier to manage. The dining halls. This building is connected to Fresh Plate, which is like a buffet, all-you-can-eat kind of style dining hall. And all my friends who live in this dorm swear up and down by it. And it's also really close to the Commons, which is, again, one of those top-tier dining options. So you're close to some great food. Now, location. Besides being really close to the Commons, it's kind of on the far east side of campus. You're kind of close to the library and the sub, maybe a little bit closer to the football stadium, but you're not really, you're nowhere near the park, rec center, basketball arena, or freshman classes. It costs the same as blocks A and B, and then, not surprisingly, a lot of the people actually really enjoy these dorms, the quality of life, because of the learning communities. It's like pre-med and pre-law in one, and there's the engineering community I know in Bledsoe. And I think that really brings together the whole atmosphere, where instead of being bland like blocks A and B, where it's just kind of throwing whoever in, whatever rooms, it's really a community of not like-minded individuals, but people who are there for the same goal. So, Block D. Block D is Talkington, Gordon, Murray, and Carpenter Wells. We're really focusing on Talkington, as this is the one that you'll see the most freshmen probably living in, but there are some other things with the other ones that are kind of important. Dorms themselves. These are suite-style dorms. You get your own room. It is a 10 out of 10. I mean, it's you can't really complain with that. Bathrooms, you get a private bathroom that you share with like 1 to 3 other people. I mean, yeah, I'll take that over a community bathroom any day. So that's, high. Dining halls. Talkington is connected to the Commons, and then Gordon is right by Fresh Plate, and Murray and Carpenter Wells literally have a Chick-fil-A, Starbucks, Einstein's, and maybe a Sam's Place or something out there, and are really close to the market. I mean, it is prime time for food there. Location. Carpenter Wells and Murray are located in the middle of campus. Like, you can get to anywhere in pretty good time. So that's definitely a boost. And Murray is actually the business dorm, suite style dorm. So Murray is right next to Rawls, and Rawls is kind of far away from everything else. So it's also a buff, bonus to live there. Cost. The cost is about $550 to $7,000, or $5,500 to $7,000 a year, which is a pretty big step up from the other places. But if you have the money, I mean, might as well go for it. And then quality of life. People like the dorms. I would say, I'll probably put it in the same category as A and B, where people like I'll put it in the same category as B, where people like the dorms, but they're not like, it's the best thing ever, I'm so happy, you know what I mean? It might be a little bit higher, but it's not, the people there aren't crazy like, oh, you have to live here, or, it's nothing, it's Talkington or bust, you know what I mean? Quality of life, average. And then finally, Murdo and Stangl. I put these dorms in their own separate category because they don't really fit any of the plans. They have the same immovable furniture plan as Block A and B, but with a slightly bigger size than at least Block B's buildings, with an attached dining hall and with, location. They didn't really fit in with any of the other places. So Murdo and Stangl, they have, again, same dorms as Block A and B. The bathrooms, a little bit worse than B, better than A because of size. It's smaller than one, larger than the other. So, of course, the bathrooms are going to be in between the two. Dining halls, it's attached to the Market, which is the best dining hall on campus because of that 50% off discount. And it's not that far from the Commons. Or you could probably walk to Fresh Plate in a good amount of time. Location. So the location of this dorm is actually amazing. It is in the middle of campus, like Carpenter Wells and Murray, but for a fraction of the price. It is the same price tag as Blocks A, B, and C, but again, has that perfect location in the middle of campus. And then miscellaneous, the quality of life. I've heard some people really like it, but a lot of people I've heard are kind of a little bit more negative. I think you might be a little bit more negative too if you had the busiest dining hall, like, in your building. You know what I mean? There's always people coming out in there. So what's the verdict? Where's the best place to live on campus? And if you ask me, Hugh and Clement Wallgates. Am I right, Dylan?
Yes.
That's where we live, and it's really nice. Thank you. You can cut.